Stop making shitty reboots, you know?
Exactly. I just leave what's good to be
some
good.
of these projects, how did they get money? How did they get funding for this shit? I'm like, how do you get funding for some of this stuff, you know?
I agree, man. Like it's hard to watch because like there's so many reboots that it feels like they've run out of ideas.
There's no new creativeness behind it. I completely assess, yeah.
I mean, like they're just so like I feel like they're getting so
or
lazy.
They're scared, or they're getting scared of taking chances. They're playing it safe.
It's possible. I just think that they're getting lazy and they're like, this is a quick buck.
Hey there. Welcome to the Gluten-Free Organic Thoughts podcast, where you are encouraged to express your natural thoughts and views through casual, meaningful conversations that hopefully can lead to learning and understanding new perspectives. To find out more info, visit www.gfOThoughts.com. Now, here are your hosts, Michael Wong and Robert Din. We hope you enjoy this episode.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a great episode of Gluten-Free Organic Thought Podcast. My name is Michael, and always with me, Robert Din.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back. Yeah, today we're going to be talking about TV shows and remakes. Like, we've heard all these remakes that are coming out, and we just want to see if we go through like a history of like what we've seen, and then if we think
well, it's more like a venti episode what we don't like, to be honest, also as well, right? So
yeah,
it's gonna be one giant podcast episode of what we like and dislike, to be honest, between TV shows and movies. Okay. Well, and the reason why I kind of want to have a discussion with this, I feel like especially with the younger generation having seen the old stuff, or our generation, we're between gap right now. We've seen the old stuff and we've seen the remake right now for a lot of things.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to see their reaction, the younger generation, versus like even our parents' generation, right? They're like, oh my God, we've seen that already. They're doing it again, you know? Even our parents seen like that, probably the third iteration of stuff, probably at some point.
That's true. Yeah. Before we go off though, Mike, what you got drinking?
I got good old H2O. It's clear though. You can see it.
Oh my God. Clear bottle. First time ever we got a clear bottle and it's water. Of course, that could be vodka in there. You don't know.
I don't lie. It's water.
Oh man, you chug vodka like that? I don't
right?
know. What a savage. Well, I just got some coffee here. So.
Wow, it's Sunday and you're drinking coffee?
Mm-hmm.
No rosé?
No rosé. I gotta work. I gotta do.
What is that, Vietnamese coffee?
This is Blue Bottle coffee.
Blue Bottle coffee. Man, that's a giant cup of coffee, though. That means you're gonna work a lot.
I guess so.
You're ready to work all night. All right, so let's get started. So let's talk about what is the TV. Again, what is, if you can name two or three TV shows and movies that you saw, that you watched remade, what you liked about it.
Let's set a premise first, right?
Yeah.
So when we're talking about this like TV shows and remakes and reboots, basically what we're talking about is if it's a reboot, that means it's a complete, like they're reimagining the whole story, or
from scratch,
or they're like they're starting from the beginning, like they're doing the whole intro story again and then going from there. And then a remake or like a continuation
of it.
Yeah, then it's just like, oh, we're going to take the story and just add more seasons.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Or add on to a new generation of it.
Yeah.
But continue, bring back the old cast.
Right. And then there's also like spinoffs, which is like, oh, we'll take something that's from the original and we'll break it apart and then make a new TV show off of it. Right.
Yeah.
So okay. One that I've seen that's like pretty recent is the Big Bang Theory, where they took Sheldon, like the main character, and then they made a young Sheldon. So they go to his history and
spin-off, a spin-off. Sheldon.
Yeah, and that's a spin-off, right? Yeah. And that's something I think I've watched a few episodes.
I've seen it all. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good like spin-off show.
It's a very well-written show, and it kind of categorizes through that. Like, it takes that segment of people who love Sheldon, and he's such a big fan base to that show itself.
Yeah, because
you want to see, like, it kind of is intriguing how he was brought up as his upbringing to become that character he is in Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's such a quirky person. has such a quirky personality. I think everybody who watches that show likes Sheldon. Like, I don't know anyone who doesn't like him.
The character though they picked for the kid was such a good casting. It's something funny. Like, he fits that mold.
Yeah, for sure. Like he. I mean, maybe that's him. Maybe he's just a really good kid actor that they got.
That kid is good though. I'm telling you right now.
It's good. Like, you really think that he's Sheldon? Like, oh, he's gonna grow up and become Sheldon.
Yeah, maybe he's a genius in real life. We don't know. So
it's possible. But do you think he's in TV shows if he's a genius in real life?
That's true. If he's found out he was smart, I can make more money being on TV than actually getting into real research.
Maybe if he's thinking about all that, yeah, he's definitely a genius.
Right. All right. So for me, one of the I guess it's not like a reboot, it's more like a continuation, is that I enjoy. One of my favorite shows back in the days was Boy Meets World. Like, when I came to the state, I was like, that's one of the TV shows that I actually got big fond of it, because it's a TV show that you learn about life lessons in a sense, right? And I guess Disney did a good job pushing the envelope back in the day with that. And so they did a continuation of it where it's the parents, Corey and Topanga, and it's their kid now. It's Girl Meets World in a sense.
Yeah.
I thought they did a great job on casting on that, and I thought it was very well written, but it only lasted 3 seasons, and then it got canceled.
Yeah.
And I thought they pushed the envelope that as well. I don't know why. I wish that they can continue run like it did for Boy Meets World, because Boy Meets World went really far. It went from like middle school to high school to college.
Yeah.
You know.
Have you gone back and tried to watch that show?
Yeah, I have.
And you like it?
It's bittersweet, because in a sense you're like, oh, when you're a little kid, your mindset's different, right? You didn't know any better.
Yeah.
But now that you know much better, I'm like, that doesn't happen in real life. You become cynical of it. That's the thing.
Oh, that's what you think of? When I think of, I think, oh, all of these people are overacting like crazy.
It is true. It is extreme. That's what I see that too.
Which is like something that nowadays TV shows don't. They have it, but I don't know. They feel like they do it in a different way. But it's like the characters are more extreme, not the acting is extreme, right?
Oh yeah. But it's done on purpose to make a point, right?
Yeah, and it's like kids, right? Kids want to see like crazy, wacky things happen to characters. So when I go back and watch it, I'm kind of like, man, this is such a good show, and I'll watch it because it's nostalgic, like you said.
Yeah.
But when I really look at it, I'm like, this is not a good show. So, like,
I mean, it's not a good acting part, I guess.
Right. Like it's entertaining to watch only because we watched it when we were little.
Yeah.
And I think maybe kids, I don't know, maybe kids will like it.
But how about this? How about the writing of it? What do you think about the writing, the life lessons they try to teach behind those shows?
I mean, I think it was good, but it's also super corny a lot of the time.
It is corny though, but the thing is that I personally learned a few things that I think I learned from TV shows that I probably wouldn't learn in real life.
What's an example of this?
I'm trying to think. In terms of like morality of a person, right? Looking good in people, in a sense, right? That positive impact. I feel like from Boy Meets World, that's what I guess that's what captivated me, in a sense, like looking in the good of people. And they actually continue on that with Girl Meets World, where the girl is actually that person as well. It's kind of almost in a sense of Corey 2.0, but they made her even more extreme. This is why it's kind of funny, like, to see that.
Yeah.
Like,
I watched the first 2 seasons. And I liked it. I liked watching it. It brought back. It was a nostalgic thing. Like, a lot of the stuff that they did on the show was like, oh man, this made me like, I remember this from the original. And they brought back a lot of characters, which is what I really like about all of these shows.
Like, some of the people that never age, like Feeny never aged.
Yeah, well, I mean, Feeny was already pretty old, so like now he's older. So.
Yeah, it was interesting. Even that guy Sean, the guy who played character Sean, he doesn't look like he aged at all.
Yeah,
it's crazy, you know. But yeah, so I think also one of the reboot that I actually enjoy, because they actually rewrote it, but based on the character, is Sabrina Teenage Witch, right? And Netflix ran I think it's also called what's it called? It's also Sabrina Teenage Witch, but it's something else though. They made it.
It's called just
Sabrina.
Sabrina.
Yeah, but they made a twist on this where she's actually a little bit more like it's actually more adult version of it.
It's a darker version.
It's a very darker version. Yeah.
Which I think I like those better. Like I
actually like it. I like it better too. I like the writing better. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like it, and it might be just because we're older, and like now TV is different than when they were writing TV back then.
But is it good for kids though?
It doesn't have to be, right? And a lot of
but I'm saying that but when you were younger, when you watched it, you were a kid, right?
Yeah.
So, but if you put yourself in that position, that 12-year-old kid, would you think that'd be good for them to watch the new one?
Probably not. But the thing is, like, I don't think when they're remaking these shows, they should be remaking it for the people that were watching the show.
Which is why
they did that. This is much better because it grew with the people that are watching it, right? They're not really bringing in a new generation Girl Me Throw is trying to like bring in the next generation in.
Yeah.
Whereas Sabrina was like, oh, we're gonna get the generation that we got and just move it to now and just bring them back. And
bring them back, retell the story same exact way, but make it darker, make it more interesting, make it more like. But it literally the storylines kind of lines up as as it was before, and I thought it was pretty cool the way they did the casting, the way it was written, and it's still going on right now on Netflix. So
it's interesting because I don't think I remember a storyline to Sabrina.
It was a bunch of episodes,
like the first time, right? Like. Yeah. I remember just like we went and we watched the show. Maybe there was a story and I just didn't watch, but it was just a funny show. We just like watched that. It was a fun show.
Yeah, so the Sabrina, it was a comedy piece, right? You're right on that part, but not the new one.
Right.
And it was very serious.
So like when I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, I don't think I remember any plot of the show. It was just Sabrina got into all these weird situations and that was funny. But then the new one actually has a plot and like it goes through, and
you uncover the character more. You actually see the character development, and then you uncover the character. Yeah. And not only that, the new episodes are 45 minutes long instead of 30-minute show. So there's a big difference.
And 30 minutes is really like a 20-minute show.
Yeah, like, correct.
Commercials and stuff. Yeah, I agree. Like, yeah, that's a good one. There's a lot of bad ones though. A lot of.
Before we jump into the bad ones, I want to talk about Star Trek. So I've been a big fan of Star Trek and all the old stuff. The movies that they've done a great job at that. I personally like them.
This reboot of Star Trek, yeah, it's been really good. With who's it? Josh Abrams. Yeah. He's done a really good job with that universe, and like the new movies are amazing. They're so good. Yeah. There's also what about the remakes that they make like Spider-Man? Where they've remade Spider-Man
4 times
now. I think it's 3 or 4 times now that they've remade and Batman. The same thing. They've remade these over
before we move on to Batman. So Tobey Maguire, who else?
The guy.
The kid now. The kid, and what's it called? The other guy from. Oh my God! What am I drawing up?
He has a brother too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
There's like 4 or 5. I know you're going with that. There's like 4 or 5 characters.
There's what's his name? Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield's what's his name. Yeah.
Oh my God! Like they've remake this every time. And do you know why they do this, right? It's because
they try to create the story differently too. Also too.
I think it's Warner Brothers has the rights to it. Somebody has the rights to it, but then they only have the rights to it if they keep making those movies. And so then they just like keep remaking them every time a character like somebody doesn't want to do it anymore. They remake it to something else. But
it's crazy.
But they have to remake. They have to have a Spider-Man movie every 2 years, or else they lose the rights to Spider-Man.
So you know what's so funny? The new Spider-Man movie coming up soon, where they have different multiverse, all of them are gonna be in the same cast now. All of them are gonna be in it. It's gonna be interesting to see.
Which person did you think embodied Spider-Man the best?
I like the innocent of Tobey Maguire for the original character, but it's the latest version of it that kind of gives the spark of Spider-Man. The guy, what's his name? The guy who played with Avenger.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. That's right. Yeah.
No, yeah. I feel like Tom Holland is the best of like Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Like he plays them both the best. But
I don't know. Something about the Tobey Maguire innocent in the beginning when he played Peter Parker that kind of just clicked really well with me though. Like I didn't like it. I didn't like him as a Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like
I think Spider-Man is supposed to be like quick-witted, right? And I don't think
he didn't get there. But he didn't get there till later though.
I didn't
like so reading the comic books, Spider-Man that quick-wittedness took a while to get there.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just don't see it. Right? For me, Spider-Man's quick-witted when he's Spider-Man, but he's a nerd when he's not. Right? Yeah. And that's so I saw Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker, but not as Spider-Man. I saw Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, but not Peter Parker.
Not as Peter Parker at all. No way.
Yeah. Peter Parker. He's too cool to be Peter Parker.
Way too cool, right?
Yeah.
Too good looking to be Peter Parker.
He's way too cool. Like, and he doesn't know. He doesn't like. I don't know. I think when you're like, when you're him, when you're what's his name? When you're Andrew Garfield, it's hard to like turn off charisma, right? So like
it's natural. It's natural,
right? It's hard to turn that up. So when he's like trying to be Peter Parker,
trying to be innocent, trying to play like
it's not. It doesn't work. Like he just isn't that guy. So I think Tom Holland has done a good job of them both and just being like a young
because he's a fresher face too. Also part of that. So.
Yeah. And I think he actually felt like that when he was like when he meets Iron Man or what's his name? Tony.
Yeah, because he was starstruck. Yeah.
Yeah, he's starstruck. So it just like was natural, and I think that Spider-Man is good. Yeah, like
like in real life too. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like in real life, that's what he felt, so he could portray it very easily when he joined the Marvel universe. Yeah. I think the Marvel has done good with their reboots from this most recent reboot. Yeah.
You know how many Hulk movies they made?
Oh my god! And the Hulk is supposed to be part of this universe. Like the Incredible Hulk is supposed to be part of this, but nobody thinks of it because it's so bad. It's so bad. But I think that's the only. I don't know. The Thor movies. Did they have Thor movies before? I don't think so.
Not that. I know there's a show about it. There's like a TV cartoon show. Yeah. I remember seeing those the other days. Oh, how about this Transformers, man? I used to watch the Transformer cartoons all the time.
Transformers has had a...
I thought that they've done an amazing job with those movies, man. Bring that shit real life. Let me tell you. When I was so excited the first Transformer movie, from being a little kid, I used to watch all the series of the Transformer stuff, right? When they brought that to like a real, like, in person, the first Transformer movie, I was like, holy crap, I didn't even care what the cast was. Megan Fox being in it, they just added another belt to the top of the notch, you know?
No, so that was a negative on my part. Like
I enjoyed it because it added another level of complexity in it because you didn't see that when you were watching that cartoon series, right? And it was very pure innocent.
I get it. But she was so bad at her job that it just brought the movie down a notch. I think it was I don't know. It's like it was cool to see the Transformers in like real life versus on cartoons.
The graphics.
I thought that was fun. The movies are always fun, even though I like don't think that they're good like
they're corny though,
or whatever. But like the choreography is amazing, and like the way that they show intricacies of like the machines as they transform.
Yeah,
it's cool. Crazy. And if it's on TV, I'll sit there and watch it. I won't be like paying attention at all, but it's an interesting watch. I will keep watching it if it's on TV, right? But Megan Fox was bad, and there was a lot of times on there where I was like, they're transforming, like the Transformers are transforming, and then they like they pan across and like a building will go over, or like there's like woods or something, and I'm like, I want to see them transform, and you're like blocking it. I'm like, what are you doing over here?
I don't know. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed what Michael Bay did. I think he did I personally think he did a great job in terms of cinematography, but the storytelling line could have been better. I agree on that part. But I think, I mean,
as
I don't know,
man. It was good. As a
it was good. It was super, I guess the jump from a cartoon to a real life thing, the expectation was low. Let's be honest with you, and it just surpassed that. To me,
It was.
To me, like my expectation was low. When I saw the graphic of that, I was like, oh, this looks badass.
Yeah. So, it looked cool. It would definitely look cool. Yeah. It definitely was Michael Bay-ish with all the explosions everywhere. But yeah, it was. I don't know. I enjoy it as like just an average movie that you go and you like watch for fun. But like to watch it as a film, I kind of was let down.
Okay, how about this? What are the reboot or remakes that so far you encountered that you did not like?
Reboots that I did not like?
Or remake, or continuation of it. For me, I have one. I did not like the remake Fuller House.
Full House?
Yeah, well, the Full House originally I thought was pretty cool. Obviously, but when you're a little kid, but then they remade it, and obviously not all the characters came back from Fuller House. You know what I mean? And their writing was fine. I had no problem with that. The writing, I just they were trying too hard. You can tell that they were trying to captivate the old audience at the same time, bringing the new generation at the same time. And I think they brought back T.J. Tanner, the Kimmy girl, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They also brought back the Chelsea guys, John Stamos, and I think obviously Bob Saget, right? And obviously Lauren Long, she was there too, but they didn't bring back the twins. You would have think that you would want to bring back the twins to see.
It's if you can bring back the twins, like.
But the whole point of that, but things like that, if you watched Full House, half of the episode were based on the twins. You know what I mean? And you would want to see how they evolve. You would want to. You know what I mean?
I think you're wrong that like half of the episode was based on the twins. I think they were the most popular because they were so cute and they were young, right?
Yeah, but you wouldn't. As our current generation, you wouldn't want to see how they came up.
Yeah, but that's if you can get them right. Like I feel like there's a lot of stuff where like you can have them talk about, like have everybody else in the show talk about it coming back, but they just won't do it. Because the main stars won't do it, and I think that they like those two girls. They like what's their name? Ashley, like Mary Kay and Ashley Olsen.
Yeah,
they just are too. They have too many other things going on that they're like. Why would they want?
What did they have other things going on? They had nothing else going on. They're not doing any TV shows.
Oh my god, they have like a multi-billion-dollar companies that they
do have companies. They do.
Right, so they're like doing a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah, I get it.
They might either be too busy or they might just want to forget that part of their life and just like move on.
That's true.
And doing other things. There's a lot of shows like that where they just won't come back because it's part of their past and they weren't happy with that side. For example, the Saved by the Bell reboot.
I actually want to talk about that. I was gonna say that for a little bit later, but Saved by the Bell reboot, to me, I thought it's a continuation to try to bring the new generation, right? And right now it's being run on Peacock, which is NBC, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is your take on that?
So I haven't watched the show. Like
you haven't watched the show?
I've only watched the first episode, which is free on YouTube or something, right? So when I watched it, I was like, all right, that's. I mean, it felt like Saved by the Bell, but the thing is, they didn't bring back Screech just because. I don't think
what happened to him. What happened to him, right?
Yeah, he's passed now, right?
Yeah,
but that's not the reason they didn't bring it back. It started. Yeah. It's like they rebooted it before he passed, so it was just like I think he had a bad experience on the show.
He did. He talked about it in the interview.
He talks about it, right? But like, so it's like some people they just can't get back. So, and I think that's how it was with Full House too.
So you saw the first episode of Saved by the Bell? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I wanted to keep watching, just to see what happens, because I'm invested in the characters, right? But not. I don't know. I've
seen it all already on Peacock, and.
Does it get better from the first episode?
It gets better. It gets better for character development. But not only that, it kind of modernizes it with today's snobbiness of those LA kids school thing. So it kind of ties to like this is real, like today's generation real. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What I was annoyed with in the show is how I don't know how rich these kids were, right?
But
and
it's
how they acted.
But the thing is that though they actually purposely made it out because now the Bayside High School, they made it because it became a super rich school area now.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they merged with the poor school together, that's where like it crashed, like the humble, like, you know what I mean? Like that made that collision hit really, really hard. And that's also why I think it drew me more attention more to it, because it kind of brought like that life lesson that they needed to learn in a sense. So as you watched,
I didn't like Zach's kid. I didn't like that kid at all.
No, and it was done on purpose.
Yeah.
Me neither. I hated it. I mean, at first couple episodes, I still hate him. It kind of grows on you a little bit because as he changes a little bit.
Yeah.
I still hate Zach as the governor of California.
Oh,
he's
really?
an idiot. Yeah. He tells you how he ran for it and how he got it, but it's still funny, like. But obviously, like, there's some of the, and then I think Slater is the gym coach there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. So
I think, yeah, I mean, I wanted to watch it because I liked that show. Like, I just like Saved by the Bell, the original. So I just wanted it to be good, and I want to keep like the universe is fun to be a part of. Yeah. So that, I don't know, I wanted to watch it, but I didn't have Peacock.
Like that cafeteria, they made a high class cafeteria, you know, because how the school got rich. But it's based on like real life, like what this current situation is in California for certain high schools, because there are certain high schools are like that in California, which is which I think they try to mimic with that. Yeah. But I do wanted to see where you're gonna spin off to that, because I feel like the first season of the remake is great, but how much can you really drag and continue that momentum? You know what I mean? Because with Saved by the Bell, we saw them grow from literally middle school to high school to college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
and I don't. I feel like that's. I mean, it can still happen like that. I feel like they still have many, like they could just drag this out as they went through college and everything. Yeah. So I think it's definitely doable. It's just if you can get people to watch.
But I feel like the way they set this up, I don't think it's gonna last that long, because the way and the reason why I'm saying that's probably maybe 2-3 years of high school. That's pretty much really. I don't see, because you can tell there's a difference. But when back in the days when they set something up, you can see that there could be potential development down the road. Where here it's like, oh my God, the conflict happened already, and by the end of the season, you can see that this girl and this guy, they're two opposite sides of each other. They start caring about each other. But then how many, I mean, the development can still happen, but it's just kind of weird. I still don't see that in a sense, right? But I still like how
the old ones though the old ones were episodic, right? They didn't have a connection a lot of the times.
No, they didn't. But you can see, but you wanted it to have the connection though. Like you wanted to build upon that. Like you, for example, the development between Zach and Kelly, right? You saw the episode that grew more and more every single episode.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. Like that was set up in like the first episode, right? The first episode where he's like, all right, I'm going to high school. This is the girl. Yeah. And like that was set it up from the beginning, right? I didn't see that in this.
No, my point is exactly. There's no longer setup. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There's no longer setup. They left it wide open.
But so like that's where you end it. But like I don't like each episode was its own episode, and like you don't have to watch it.
I agree. You don't have to watch the previous episode to continue the new episode. I get that. You can just pick it up wherever you want to.
Whereas now, I think when you're making a show, you have to have that continuation.
You have to. Oh, you mean that background to continuation? Okay.
Yeah, like I don't think people watch shows anymore just one episode out of 100. Like they don't. They watch it all in order, and they watch it, and they want to see a development, right? Which I think they can make. I think they just have to be they have to be thoughtful of it, right? But I think back in the day, like all these sitcoms, like they could just make whatever, and then they're like, oh, somehow we're not really putting this into a schedule, a sequence. Yeah. We're just making one show, and then we make another show, and then
you felt like, oh, they wrote it the night before. I was gonna do it tomorrow.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you know what would be a cool idea, and then that's what they did, right? Versus now they're like, all right, we have to plan the last episode's gonna do this, and then how do we get from there to there?
And how you said this last episode to the next 3 episodes. I know where you're going with that.
Yeah.
Because people like continuation. That's the thing.
Now, I don't know why before they didn't ask for that, or they didn't.
Well, before it was, before there was a little bit of continuation. Boy Meets World, there was a continuation. Boy Meets World, a little bit.
Kind of, but you didn't really need it to watch each episode.
No, I agree, but still, okay. So, for example, for Fuller House, you don't need it to watch to pick it up right now. But for Saved by the Bell, you can right now. You do though. For Saved by the Bell, I feel like.
For Saved by the Bell, you do.
You kind of do. Yeah.
Huh. But maybe that's why Fuller House doesn't have a lot of people like it, right? It's because of that. There's no need for that.
I don't know. I think Fuller House got another season. I think. Let me see. Did Fuller House another season?
Oh, did they? I don't know. It's very mixed reviews.
It is mixed reviews.
It's very mixed reviews. I watched the first season and I half watched it. Like it was always in the background. It didn't really make me watch it fully, right?
Fuller House, so they got the 5th and 6th season already, and that's pretty much really it. That they did
5th and 6th season. Damn.
Yeah, Fuller House.
They're gonna make a. But Girl Meets World got canceled after 3 seasons.
I don't know why. I guess they lost viewership, or keep this in mind. Also, too, at the same time, when Girls Meet World released, there was a lot of other shows that was competing against that, and so it was tough for them. To be honest, if you put Girls Meets World in Nickelodeon instead of Disney, I'm telling you now, it will be a whole different story. It will survive
Nickelodeon instead of Disney.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Because that younger generation-ish, Nickelodeon would have probably emphasized that show a little bit more. Well, Disney had other shows, a lot of other shows. That's it, at the same time during that time when it was released. So it wasn't on prime time either. You have it in mind. So I don't know. It's for me, I'm saying that because it's nostalgic for me. I grew up with watching that TV show. I'm kind of biased in a sense, but. For people who hasn't watched the original version they may think otherwise. But
yeah, I don't know anyone who watches Nickelodeon anymore, though. I guess I'm not a kid anymore either, right?
We're not kidding, right?
So I don't know anybody who watches Nickelodeon, and I don't know kids now, even Sean's kids, they watch Netflix or they watch Disney Plus or they watch, there's no Nickelodeon that they're watching anymore. So I don't even know if Nickelodeon is gonna be that. Is that good for a show to be on. But yeah, I don't know. I watched Fuller House and I watched Girl Meets World. I like Girl Meets World way better. Yeah. I also have other examples of bad spin-offs that happened.
Like which one?
So I watched Friends, the entire Friends
so do I,
show multiple times over, and then when they ended, when they ended, they wanted to make a spin-off, and they made this show called Joey that's just based off of Joey.
Oh, really? They did?
Yeah. I think it got cut middle of 3rd season.
Oh, really?
And I watched the entire thing because I just wanted it to be good, but it wasn't. It was so bad. It's
I didn't even hear about the spin-off, by the way. That's how bad it is.
It was bad. So Joey, what Joey did was he has all these friends in New York, right? And then he's like, all right, what's gonna happen is we're gonna take Joey. He's gonna go to LA and try to make it as an actor in LA.
Yeah.
But they never reference anybody from the past. No, it's just, it's Joey, and then they bring in a whole new group of people, and then Joey's the dumbest guy in the show. So it just wasn't fun to watch, and that was that's one of the worst reboots that I've seen.
So for me, have you seen Heroes back in the days? Heroes, the TV show Heroes.
Yeah.
Dude, I used to love that show. That went on for 13 seasons, some of that Heroes and stuff.
13 seasons Heroes went on for? No way.
Probably 7, 8. And then they did the reboot, Heroes Reborn, I think 2015. I wanted it to be. I really wanted it to be good. You know what I mean? But it wasn't. It I guess maybe the first reboot season was okay, but it just got worse. And I was like, maybe I grew out of it. I don't know, but I thought Heroes was amazing. Like the character development, the way it was writing, how it was connected to each other, each episode connected to each other. Like it was like, I don't know, it was.
So I loved season 1 of Heroes.
Me too.
And then it got worse and worse and worse. It only lasted 4 seasons.
Okay.
Like, and I'm pretty sure I know why, because every season it got worse to the point where like it was unwatchable. And then they think that they're going to be making a reboot or a remake or like a spin-off. There's no way. They couldn't even make 4 seasons that were good. How can they make another show completely?
I was like, I mean, I wanted it to be good. As I'm saying, like, I really wanted it to be successful,
to be good,
but it wasn't, you know. So
if only they could like capture that season 1, because that season 1 was so ridiculously good.
It's just the way the season 1 was. It was the unveiling of the characters. That's just why it was so good.
Season 1 was so good, and then the rest of it is I don't know. I could live without it.
I think okay. So the other TV show that I saw that the 3 just reboot, Charm. So I used to like the original Charm, the 3 witches.
Oh, you watched that show? I never watched it. That's based in San Francisco.
Yeah, I watched it because my sister watched it. That's why I watched it. And then they just redid it at like an evil version of it. I was like,
wait a minute. Are you blaming your sister, or did you really just like it?
I enjoyed the show. I didn't know. I did not know about it until my sister watched it. And then I'm like, oh shit, 3 hot girls, why not?
Okay,
so I was like,
all right.
I don't know, but then the remake sucks. I didn't like it. I don't like
remake
it.
Sucks.
Yeah, that's
For me, I think that most things should just be left alone.
Yeah, I agree. And you can't replace Elisa Milano. I'm sorry, you can't replace her. You just can't.
Yeah, I think most shows or movies or whatever should just be left alone. You should just leave them the way they are.
Let me ask you this: McGuyver, the new remake of McGuyver. Did you like it?
I haven't watched any of the new.
Oh, so you ever seen the old school McGuyver versus the new one?
No, I watched the old one. I haven't seen any of the new one.
Oh, okay, all right. So the old one, I used to watch it all the time, and I thought it was like this badass thing, right? The new one, they made it more interesting. There's a little twist to it where they make it more quote unquote, I guess, like, oh, this could be done quote unquote real life in a sense. And I thought they did a good job of keeping it interesting, but it got too cheesy, I guess.
It got too cheesy?
Yeah.
I guess that's one thing you have to worry about. If you just can't.
But I thought it was cool though, and I think it's still going on now. I'm gonna see if it's still going on right now. I'm not sure. I don't. I think the reboot happened in 2016, if I remember correctly.
I remember there was a reboot, but I never got into it, or I never like even watched.
Yeah, it's still going. It's still going on right now. So.
Wow, I guess they're doing well.
They're doing well. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the ones that I saw that was what was I thinking about? That it was a bad reboot. Yeah. I don't know. Let's keep going because I just brain farted.
All right, we're gonna take a break right now. We're gonna do the extra MSG session, okay? And then we're gonna come back into TV shows or movies that we want to see remake or continue, you know, okay? Mm-hmm. All right, so for my extra MSG funny session is this. We're talking about old school. Look at this, good old Jim Carrey.
Oh, this Jim Carrey clip?
Yeah, I love this clip. It's so good. He does Jack Nicholson so well. Like his eye expression. Oh, his face, man. So for those who are not watching us, pretty much Jim Carrey portraying his face of Jack Nicholson. It's so good with the eyes and the smile.
Yeah. He's doing impersonations, but face impersonations.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey is a good comedian.
Yeah. It does an other couple of character as well in this clip though. But I love Jim Carrey, the old school Jim Carrey. You know.
There's Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, there's Clint Eastwood, yeah.
I wonder if he can do these faces without like because it looks like he goes from like his original face, and then like slowly moves his face in and molds into the character.
Morphs into it, you know.
Versus like just, I wonder if he could just do it, or does he have to do all this like weird twitching to like?
Who knows? But it's crazy though. He's does a good job at that, you know.
Yeah.
All right. How about you? What's your funny session?
All right. So mine, I'll send it to you here. It's a video of his, it's just a video of somebody's like, what's your dream job? And then it's a video of this guy. He's basically a skater. He's on there's kids all around, and he has a ball, like a rubber ball, and he just kicks kids. He kicks the ball in the kids, and like
to knock them
fall
down.
over. Yeah.
And then towards the end of the clip, he kicks the ball to the same kid 3 times.
Yeah, like his whole job is just, oh hey, let me go kick the ball to kick the ball at kids and then knock them down.
That is so hilarious. What a favorite. What a dream job to have, you know.
And then the title is "No children were harmed during the making of this clip." I think.
And one of the comments says, "Is this some kind of skating training method?"
Yeah, since everyone's in hockey gear. Maybe it is. Maybe it's just like to keep your balance. But that's what he's doing. Just
All right, so let's jump back into this, Robert. All right, so if you were to pick 1 or 2 movies or TV episodes that you'd like to continue, see a remake or reboot, what would it be? Which one would it be?
I don't know. Like I said, there's not very many that I think.
I have a couple.
I don't think there's things that if they were originally good, I don't think they need to be remade. One thing
or reboot or a continuation of it.
Yeah, there's some that there should be, right? But it's just because they were cut too short. But I don't think a reboot should be done on very many things. One reboot though that I have is Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live action.
Oh, that's a shitty ass Avatar movie. That's just so shitty.
That movie, that Avatar: The Last Airbender movie, the one that was made by M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
I always have said this is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
That's so bad.
The worst movie, and I would want that to be remade because he did such a shit job on it.
Yeah.
That's why. Like I think that's one movie that I would want.
So for me, I would like to see a continuation of a reboot. Family Matter.
Family Matters.
I want to see Steve Urkel and Stefan Urkel. What happened today?
Oh man. At the end of Family Matters, did he turn into Stefan forever?
I think he I think they ended up going to college as well, isn't he? Also too.
I don't remember how all that.
I'm trying to remember that.
I don't remember the ending.
He was able to switch. He was able to control it.
Yeah, so he could control back and forth. But I wanted to know if he could switch forever and become Stefan forever.
I don't
that
know.
Might be what the remake would be.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, but I would like to see what the continuation of this, because that reminded me, because the guy who played the cop, Carl, right? It was in Girl Meets World as a cop also. I was like, oh shit, the same cop. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
So what a throwback.
Yeah, what a throwback, you know? So talk about casting it.
I don't know if I would want it to be remade though.
I don't know.
I would maybe like another season.
Because this kind of era with all the situation going on and the life lessons that you learn from watching that show is so impactful, and especially right now with history repeating itself with some of the stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. The thing is, like, when you're teaching lessons in shows, like, it gets corny very fast. And do people these days want corny stuff in their show?
But it's applicable to today's scenario. Think about it, right? And so, like, even though back in the 90s, it was, we as kids, we may not be as aware of it, but now that we are more focused on it, especially the younger younger generation are even more aware than we were because there's social media. You can understand that.
Yeah.
So the transparency is even more clear. It's in their face 24/7. When we were kids, we didn't know what's going on unless you watched the news or you heard it from our parents. So we were shielded from it. So I think not just the corniness of the shows. I think just the life lessons that you watch from TV show is more applicable in real life today's world than it was before when we were watching it. That's all. I mean, it sends a message that would be more
you're trying to like create a good message to the younger
Correct.
generation.
To the younger generation, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know how
I'm not saying they're gonna like it or
anymore.
not. I'm not saying they're gonna like it or not. That's a whole different story, right? That's a whole different question I'm trying to say. But I'm saying like there should be.
But do you think that type of show can do well now?
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, in the sense where like, oh, now if every episode is like giving some sort of like message or trying to like teach you, but it ends up being super corny, will it still hit as well?
Well, I mean, ultimately though, I still think that it'll still be impactful. But whether they like it or not, that's a whole different story. Depends how it's written. Depends how the
no, even if it's written great, right? Do you think
it's useful?
Yes, do you think that type of show will be impactful to
100%, 100%, because there will always has to be some kind of show like that going forward for every generation, because it's hard to pass the message like that. It's very hard, and you're gonna see shows no matter what it was, the new or old. These kind of messages, it's gonna repeat itself. It's gonna be redone no matter what.
So do you think every generation needs another like Fuller House?
Maybe
so every generation
maybe like Boy Meets World, or another Family Matters show. I don't know. It's just I mean, it may not be the same. Like, for example, Carmichael show, right? The Carmichael show, I love that show. I hated how it ended so early, but it tied to real life stuff.
Yeah, no, I think the Carmichael show should be continued for sure.
I really wanted to continue the show. It was such a well-written show that I don't know why they got dropped.
I think that was such a good show. Like, the Carmichael show was such a good show. It should have kept going.
But it was corny though. You gotta say that it was corny but funny, but still impactful and delivering that message.
Yeah, I think they had a hard time gaining an audience and keeping their audience, which is why.
You think so?
I think their numbers dropped.
I heard something else, but
oh really? What was the reason?
I heard controversy stuff. That's why it was very controversial.
Who? For Carmichael?
The topics was controversial. The topics.
Oh, the topics are controversial, so they cut it.
That's what a lot of comments says for people who try to review the episodes, some of that.
It's kind of interesting because they like, that was the show from the beginning. That's been the show. So they okayed the show to begin with, and then there's controversy, and now that, like, I don't know.
And obviously,
the topics are what they are. He was going to talk about this anyways, and that was probably. I wasn't in the meeting, but I'm pretty sure that was part of the pitch, right? So I don't know. It makes it interesting that would be the reason to cancel it.
Well, there's a lot of rumor behind that as well. There's obviously rumor that like, in terms of like what's called. When was this canceled? What, 2017 or 16, something like that? No, 18, right? A lot of them says it was because it was just in a situation that they thought that they didn't have the time slot to bring it back, or it was like some people said that they didn't have they had an audience, by the way. I thought they had a really good audience. I mean, ultimately they never really gave that final saying, hey, this is why we canceled.
Yeah, but they said there was
but they admitted that they had a good stable audience. But they had a lot of critical, like they had a lot. They didn't like how it was. That show was always a challenging situation in a sense. Like,
I don't know, but they have shows now like Blackish and
I don't know
stuff.
It was
like, it's
though.
Fine.
I don't know. Keep this in mind. This was NBC, right? So NBC has a lot of stuff, a lot of things to do sometimes with canceling shows that are they don't give no real explanation, and even now in day, they still don't know why it was being canceled. No one says anything. So
yeah, they're I don't know. They had an average about. They started like 4.8 million viewers, and then season 3 was towards almost 4. Like,
It wasn't bad.
It was around 4, yeah.
But it wasn't bad though. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like they had a massive dropish in a sense. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's a 25% or 20% drop.
It's not bad though. To be honest with you, it's actually not that bad. I've seen a lot of worse shows than that drop way worse.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so and another I think continuation that I would love to see, believe it or not, it's this. So you know how they make the different version of Flash, right?
You want them to reboot the Flash?
I want them to do something better. Like
what? Of the Flash? Have you watched the Flash show? The most recent Flash show on CW?
No, yeah, I've seen it.
I love that show. That show is amazing. I don't want them to redo that show.
Not redo that one. I want them to. So have you read the comics?
No, I haven't read any comics.
Okay,
no.
All right. So the comics, I want them to follow more towards the comic. That's why the storyline.
Oh, you want the original the show that's here to follow? Okay.
No. The CW show's great. I have nothing wrong against that. It's a whole different story. That's a whole different genre by itself for me. Like, there's a whole different thing. But I just really wish they could follow the comics better. That's all.
What if they did like a animated one that followed it? Would that be okay? Or did you want a live action one?
I want a live action one. Come on, man. Everything's live action now.
Honestly, like I don't want them to remake another Flash. I want the Flash that they have on the show to be the Flash that they have on the movies.
Yes,
he's
so good. He's really good.
He's so good as the Flash. I don't want any more Flash. Like he is the Flash to me from now on. So I don't know. I kind of disagree with that. Pretty strongly disagreed actually.
I want also. I want a continuation of How I Met Your Mother. I don't know why.
I don't want any more.
I do. I love that show so much.
They're making a How I Met Your Father.
No, they're not.
Yeah,
really?
They're making a spinoff or like I don't know. Yeah, it's another.
The guy version of it.
I guess it's the girl version of it, right? It's
the girl version of it for the guy. Yeah,
How I Met Your Father, and that's coming out soon. Actually,
it's the same writer, different writers.
I don't know. It might be the same. Let's see. How I Met Your Father. Yeah, it's definitely coming out soon though. It has Hilary Duff in it. It's on Hulu.
She's gonna be probably the storyteller probably.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. She's like she's a lead.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like
I wonder who's gonna be the Barney in that.
I don't know. That's the thing, right? I don't think that they can do it. Like,
but that expectation is so high. Now.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't bring on another Barney, right? You can't. Like, you
could.
No, like who is going to compete?
You remember American Pie Stifler? And then there's a new American Pie Stifler female version of her. Like, it's like the granddaughter Stifler, something like that, or the cousin. American Pie.
I mean, I didn't watch too many of those. Oh, I did. It did remind me of what we were talking about earlier about reboots that I hated, and Ghostbusters the movie. I hated that reboot. The one with all girls.
Oh yeah.
It was so not funny. It was so unfunny that I just hated it, and I didn't understand why they needed to do a reboot of it. Which is, I think that's part of my whole thing. It's like, if it's good, like leave it. You don't need a reboot of it. It shouldn't be done. And this is how like How I Met Your Mother was. How I Met Your Mother was so good for so long, and then like just leave it. Like I don't know if you can outdo Barney Stinson.
That's true. It's so hard. Like I mean,
hard.
It's just that cast chemistry was so good. The storyline flowed really well.
Yeah.
And everything came together really well. And the way it was just. It's just written. It was just so.
Yeah.
You know.
I think. I mean, I don't know. I want more original content than reboots of old stuff that's going on. But I did see. There's a couple Netflix episodes or a couple old TV shows that I would want them to keep going because they were just cut off too short. One of them was Better Off Ted. This is it's a sitcom, right, about a research and development company.
Yeah.
And basically, it's an evil R&D company, but then they in the beginning of every episode is like a commercial for the company Viridian Dynamics, and they go through like, oh, we're building this for you, but then it's like they always have like a pretty
scheme.
There's like some scheme, and you can like tell by the way they make the commercial. It's funny. It's pretty funny. It was a funny show, and they stopped that show so fast. I think it was like three seasons or something.
Yeah.
Which they should have kept going. It was a funny show. I watched every episode of that. And then there was another one on Netflix called Daybreak, which is it's a telling of a zombie story, right? Like, so this zombie story where like everybody like one day like zombie apocalypse happened, but everyone under the age of 18 is still alive, but all the adults are gone, right? So
they're zombies.
Yeah, so everyone else is zombies, and then all the cliques that happened in high school like developed in the world, right? So you have the jocks all on one side, the cheerleaders over, and so it's just a story, and it didn't take itself seriously. So every episode was like, it was a funny show, and they would make fun of themselves a lot of the times.
Oh my god!
So it's one of those shows where I thought they should have done, like, that show was amazing. It left us with a cliffhanger at the end, and then they canceled it after one season.
Oh, so therefore they never really ended in a sense.
Yeah, so it didn't really end, and that's one show I would want them to bring back and to like, just to add on. Like, I don't want them to remake it, just add on, because that's the way I would want things to happen. But yeah, I don't know. Those two shows, for me, are ones that should be done again.
Yeah.
Or
so
continued.
I mean, there are a couple of shows that I do think that ended really early. I think one of them was what's it called? From I'm trying to remember on top of my head. Oh my god, why am I blanking out right now? It's why am I blanking out?
Also, shouldn't Game of Thrones be remade?
No, Game of Thrones kind of, and maybe the last episode, but
no,
Game of
the
Thrones
last season apparently was horrible. I was really late on the Game of Thrones.
No, I don't think so. I think that the last season could be adding on, could have made more better. Doctor Who, I think Doctor Who, they did that. Didn't that end early? They rebooted it.
They've rebooted it already, and it's still going.
Oh, that's right. They renewed it. I thought they canceled it.
Yeah, Doctor Who's been going on for so long.
No, it's not a doctor show though. Hang on, I'm trying to remember when it was that it was canceled early though. I'm trying to remember. Oh, what am I drawing a blank? Anyway, when it comes to my mind. But anyway, but I mean, like when it comes to like TV shows and it comes to remake, right? What makes it where this show should never be touched again? Like you say, How I Met Your Mother should never be touched again. Why is that?
Because it was good. It was like, I think if it's good, don't remake something that's good.
Big Bang Theory. Do you think there should be a continuation?
No, it's a good show. It had a start and an end. I think it should be fine. You should only continue shows that didn't get a good end, or a show that was horrible that had a good premise.
So okay, so Big Bang Theory, right? It was good. I like how it ended. You're right. Same thing for Boy Meets World. I like how he ended it and how it's all right. But they still they remade it again. But do you think 10 years from now, do you think there should be a Big Bang Theory reboot like that?
No, I don't think any of those shows. I don't even think that Girls Meets World should have been done, right? Like, I think for me, what should happen in a lot of these cases is they make a special or something. Or like a 1 hour special where they bring everyone back.
No, that's not enough. You know that.
I don't want more story. I just don't want more story. That's the thing. Like, if it's good and it ended well, I don't really want more story. Like the imagination is good enough, right? But there's because like Girl Meets World didn't like, it gave us very little about like Topanga and
no, but
Corey's life like afterwards. It gives us some, but it followed the girl, like their kid, more than them.
But that was the main character, the girls. That was the whole point.
Yeah, I know. So like this was a spinoff on a good show, which is, I guess it's fine, but I don't want more Boy Meets World.
That's true. Yeah.
All right, and I don't want more. I don't know. I don't find like The Big Bang Theory was so good that I don't think you need to remake it. I don't think you need.
You didn't want to. You didn't want to see Sheldon's baby, Sheldon having a kid.
Sure, like that's what I'm saying. Like you can have a 1 hour special where it's just like, oh, we're gonna bring people back, and then like, oh, it could be a story, like a movie or something. But then you just bringing people back and stuff. But I don't want them to remake anything.
It's like do you want another continuation of Harry Potter, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Harry Potter's a thing where like it's yeah, they had a good ending. I don't know.
They had a good ending. They had a good ending. They show afterward. They had kids and stuff. That's also.
I would want more in the universe. So like you can take a spin-off. Like they did a spin-off with like what is it? With they had a couple other movies that came out afterwards that weren't related to Harry Potter, but they were. It was like
a sequel or tied to it before that. Yeah,
which is fine. And I'm totally fine with that type of stuff. But like, I don't want another Harry Potter reboot.
I get you. It would never be another Harry Potter. So.
Right. I just don't want them to do it again. Like why do it unless like there's times when when they could do it and it'd be great.
Power Rangers. More Power Rangers.
I don't know. Power Rangers still going. Like there's what are you?
It's so good.
What are you rebooting if it's still going?
That's true. But the original was so cheesy, but then the new ones are they're actually pretty good graphics though. Some of the new ones, so
yeah. And that's the thing. Like they made movies. They made the Power Rangers movie too.
Yeah.
Where like the graphics were really cool. Like I think that's
storyline sucks.
The storyline's not good, but the graphics are good, right? So it might be something like that where like you more like sci-fi stuff where like we could have better graphics or like a better imagining of how the tech stuff is happening. But when it comes to the stories and like if it had a good ending,
there's so much you could write, to be honest. I feel like
there was like in an anime sense, like the Full Metal Alchemist, where they had this Full Metal Alchemist which was following the manga for a long time, and then they got ahead of the manga. so they got to the point where like they were making episodes of this show before they could finish the manga. So then they made a whole different weird ending, and everyone was like, what the hell's going on? So then once the manga finished, they rebooted the whole thing and did Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and that one followed the manga exactly, and it was amazing. So much better because the ending was good, right? And it ended correctly. That's why I was thinking like Game of Thrones could be rebooted and
I finished the book though
with the real ending that like is good.
I mean, the book they haven't finished reading the book yet.
I know, which I don't think they can reboot it until an actual ending happens. That's good.
True.
But which probably won't happen because the guys
for a while.
I think it's probably never gonna happen. I think he's never gonna finish it. He's gonna leave it the way it is. He's gonna take his millions of dollars and just
done with it. Yeah.
I'm done with this. I wrote however many books. I don't need to write 2 more. Yeah.
All right. Listen, we're gonna wrap this episode up with our event. All right. So Robert, you want to take it away? Sounds like this whole episode was an event for you, to be honest.
Stop making shitty movies. Like that's
there we go. Yeah. I don't think I got an event today. I feel like this whole episode for me was a little bit of venting. I was like, stop making shitty reboots, you know?
Exactly. I just leave what's good to be
some
good.
of these projects, how did they get money? How did they get funding for this shit? I'm like, how do you get funding for some of this stuff, you know?
I agree, man. Like it's hard to watch because like there's so many reboots that it feels like they've run out of ideas, and there's no more like. It's
true. There's no new creativeness behind it. I completely assess. Yeah.
I mean, like they're just so like I feel like they're getting so
or
lazy.
They're scared, or they're getting scared of taking chances. They're playing it safe.
It's possible. I just think that they're getting lazy, and they're like, "This is a quick buck we can make because people know this already."
It's easy to intro, easy to redo it. I completely agree. Yeah, it can be better as well.
I think, but like, I don't know how to stop this. We as a society need to stop watching the stupid, shitty movies that they're making.
All right. So, well, folks, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to, if you're watching on YouTube or listening to us on Spotify, if you have a show that that you think you hate so much that you'd like to see reboot, please leave a comment.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know what you guys think was a bad reboot, or like what should never be rebooted. There's a lot of the classics need to not be rebooted, right? So
to be touched for sure.
Just let us know. Also, smash that like button. Subscribe to our channel. If you are on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave us some comments, leave us some reviews. And if you want to see any of our other episodes, you can go to our website, www.gfOThoughts.com.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in to this amazing, interesting, venting episode. Until next time, everybody. Take it easy.
Peace.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Gluten-Free Organic Thoughts podcast. As always, we appreciate you. If you are watching us on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this episode, and leave us a comment. If you are listening to us, please leave us your honest review on your preferred podcast listening platform. And as always, you can find us on social media at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GFOThoughts. Drop a comment and give us some feedback. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, see you then.